All right, I think we need to look at some of the other effects of this technology then that you've identified. Let's go.
Toasted cars?
Let's go to toasted cars. Let's go to image 114 if we can, please. 114. This is, I can't find it on my list here. Yeah, this is a map of the areas of New York where the toasted cars were found. And as you can see, they seem to be a hell of a long way from the towers. And those lines around the towers are where the debris fields were. Is that correct?
Yeah, within those zones around the towers where I saw solid material.
Okay, with solid material. So these cars that had these extraordinary effects that seem to defy the laws of physics were in areas where they didn't have the buildings falling on them. Okay, let's look at 118. This is a toasted car.
Or 119?
We'll go to that in a minute.
Okay.
Let's go in the right order, eh?
Okay, I was thinking 119 is the map that shows where the cars...
I know, but I just want to do them in the right order, otherwise we can get confused here. So this is a toasted car. This is on... this is some distance.
That's sitting over an FDR Drive.
FDR Drive. Oh, this is on the East River.
Right. We don't know if it was toasted there or if it was carted there. You know, to be precise, we didn't witness that, but we do have cars that were witnessed as going into spontaneous combustion.
Okay, well let's look at 119 then. This is a map of Lower Manhattan. With the site of the World Trade Center is on the left. And the toasted cars, there's a big car park full of them way up on the top left. And there were lots of them under a flyover, an
on the East
overpass,
River,
as you call it, on the East River, way over on the East River, blocks away.
There was a fellow, Alan Cook, who was standing down there, and suddenly the cars went into spontaneous combustion right before him. He was over by the South Street Seaport, and trying to figure out how to explain it. It must blow people's minds. He rationalized that it must have been a fireball that got loose from the World Trade Center, rolled down the street and hit the car. Because why else would the car go into spontaneous combustion?
Yeah, it does seem somewhat unlikely, doesn't it? So, okay, let's go to the next one. This is 120.
And
this is another map of...
And that long zone at the top in the middle, that's West Broadway. And about every car for about 4 blocks was toasted. The paper wasn't burned, the buildings weren't burned.
The trees weren't burned.
There
were cars underneath green trees.
Bushy green trees.
And they weren't singed or...
Right.
And they were like weirdly burnt, weren't they, some of these cars? Some of them, the engines were missing. And...
Exactly.
Okay, let's go to 121. Let's look at some of what happened.
The toasted bus.
The toasted bus. And this, it looks like some of it's melted. I mean, the metal has melted.
What's interesting is you see in the distance, Building 7 is still standing. So you know about what time it is.
Because Building 7 fell at about 5:20 in the afternoon of 9/11.
Was finally, but its final demise.
Not fell. Evaporated and
went away.
Okay.
But notice the car on the very right, on the edge of the picture.
Yeah.
It's rusted.
Yeah, it's rusty, isn't it? Yeah.
Steel doesn't, especially car steel, doesn't rust instantly.
Well,
unless something happens to it.
It's very unlikely, isn't it? Even if it got soaking wet in salt water, in a few hours, it would not go. Well,
it still has some areas of its paint showing, its undercoat, but it's pretty amazing how quickly these vehicles rusted.
Let's look at 122. This is lots more toasted cars.
The photo in the upper right corner, notice the door handle's missing. That was just a pattern I noticed. And also you see the vehicles on the far side of the street with the trunk lid popped open. Car in the middle has the sliding door open. Car on the right, something's weird about its engine underneath the front end. But it seemed to be that the door latches and trunk latches, you call them boots.
Boots, we do call them boots, yes.
Popped. And the car right below that in the bottom right corner, its engine is missing.
The engine is missing, so how did that car get there? This is, you know, this is... And there were several cars, weren't there?
Lots
the
of them.
engines just gone. But of course, engines are made of iron,
Right.
largely. Some of them are made of aluminium. I know before you all text in, I know some are. But many are made of iron.
Yeah. And
Particularly
more
in America,
concentrated.
where they don't like aluminium engines for some reason.
In the bottom left corner, you see a missing engine, but the car in the picture of the bottom left, but the car on the right side of it, notice the abrupt change between the front end and the door.
And that's where that arrow is, pointing to that
Right.
abrupt change. So it looks like, one half is, I know in your book you say one half is like wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
And the other half is just terminal wreck.
But it gets you thinking about the rubber gasket they put around doors,
Yeah.
as though that's an insulator.
So this is the electrical part of your nuclear, electrical, magnetic...
I'm just noticing this trend that you have this abrupt change on the doors.
In that top left picture, can we just go back to that picture again, 1, 2, 2. In that top left picture, what is that?
I think it used to be a mail truck.
I mean, a building didn't fall on it, did it? And if it did, it was just dust and paper.
Parallelogram kind of thing.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? It is extraordinary. Okay,
And the police car that's parked right next to it, you see just the back end's toasted, not the door again.
the front is fine.
Yeah.
Or so it appears. And let's look at the final picture of toasted cars. There's plenty more in Judy's book, but let's not go crazy here. But let's look at 1, 2, 3. Now this one,
Unburned paper.
unburnt paper all over the place. There's green trees there. And the second car back on the right clearly doesn't have an engine. Another car parked in the street. How did it get there without an engine? Did someone just, on that day, did lots of people decide to go out and take a car out with no engine?
There's a tremendous number of them, including in the parking lot. But there's another trend to that. Notice the traffic light's still there.
Yes, it is.
It's potted in the ground. Same with the signposts and the buildings.
So you're saying it's earthed?
Yeah.
Whereas the cars are on rubber tires?
Yeah.
Ah.
And things that are not grounded can build up a charge more.
You know what? This is what I like about your book, I've got to say, Judy, because you're looking at evidence and you're just saying, how can this be explained by two planes flying into tall buildings? These cars are, in some cases, miles away from the buildings that were hit by planes. What on earth happened?
I'd like to, if we could go to 119, there's something else I'd like to point out there.
Back to 119, okay, let's go back to 119.
There is an EMT driving across the Manhattan Bridge on the far right.
The Manhattan Bridge is the bridge on the right.
3/4 miles away, and she said you could feel the heat from the bridge.
Okay, this is an eyewitness.
Yes.
Saying you could feel the heat from the bridge.
Yeah, first responders.
The heat from the World Trade Center.
Yeah. There's unburned paper for the 3/4 mile in between. She was feeling something, but it couldn't be conventional heat.
Could it be like microwave radiation? Because that can heat you up.
Yeah, it could be some kind of energy field that was perceived as heat.
And because she's high up, she's raised up on that bridge, isn't she?
And
although there are lots of tall buildings.
Notice the toasted cars.
On FDR Drive.
Yeah, right in front of her along that same line of sight.
Or Franklin Delano Roosevelt Drive. As
Okay.
I believe it is.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so lots of weird stuff happened on that day that you have spent 10 years looking for an explanation.
Fire cannot cause a building to collapse, but a steel frame building, but also if the building collapses from whatever, from bombs in the building, from fire, whatnot, how does that explain cars being toasted a half mile away?
It's hard to understand that. Let me